Good evening, everybody. Well, maybe. We'll get started with the closed session portion of the Knox County Board's regular meeting, June 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. The clerk would call the roll, please.
Robertson.
Here.
Thank you. Pugh.
Here.
Theory. She's here. Kramer. Sandoval. Nachi.
Here.
J. Frederick. Davidson. Hawkinson.
Here.
Boone.
Here.
Weiss. Here. Bondi. Cohen. Here. Bollinger. And B. Frederick.
Here.
10 members present, Mr. Chair.
All right, to declare a quorum. I'll take a motion to enter closed session for personnel, collective negotiations, security procedures, property pending litigation 5 ILCS 122C1, 2, 8, and 11, please.
So moved.
All right, any discussion? Call the roll.
Robertson.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
Theory.
Yes.
Nachi.
Yes.
Hawkinson.
Yes.
Boone.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Bondi. Cohen.
Yes.
And B. Frederick.
Yes.
10 ayes, Mr. Chair. We are closed.
All right, we'll step in the next room.
Mike.
All right. All right, good evening, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order. The Knox County Board's regular meeting, June 25th, 2025. The time is 6:01 PM at the Galesburg City Hall Council Chambers, Galesburg, Illinois. The clerk would call the roll, please.
Robertson.
Here.
Oh, shoot. Got to turn my pen on. Pugh.
Here.
Theory.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Sandoval. Nachi.
Here.
J. Frederick.
Here.
Davidson.
Here.
Hawkinson.
Here.
Boone.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
Bondi.
Here.
Cohen.
Here.
Olinger.
Here.
And B. Frederick.
Here.
14 members present, Mr. Chair.
Declare a quorum. A proclamation by the sheriff.
Hearing. Knox County Board is now in session for third to adjournment. The Honorable Chair, Jared Hawkson, presiding.
All right, thank you, sir. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. If everybody could remain standing for a moment of silence, please have our friends, our colleagues, constituents, anybody that we think that needs to have thoughts and prayers, our military, for unknown circumstances going forward. Have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Are there any additions to the agenda, please? Okay, so we're removing item 14 and 17. Item 14 and 16 are duplication basically, and item 17, we'll just address that portion when we receive financing information. Is that correct, Bob? Okay.
And-
Also,
Gonna say removing item 20.
remove item 20. And then I will also remove item 4. We'll address that for item 4 for the Sesquicentennial Task Force next month, but I wanted to have some more information. So 4, 14, 17, and 20. Any other items for that? Any objections? All right. So noted. Moving on to public comment. Got the list here. Did anybody not get their name on the list for public comment? All right. Just a reminder, it is 3 minutes. You have a timer, and at the end of the timer, that'll be it. When it comes your time, just come down to the front, press the button so your kiosk is green. And first up, I have Tracy Robertson.
Hello, County Board members, fellow members. I am Tracy Robertson, for those in the back that don't know who I am. I have to come at this time because we don't have a new business on our agenda. So everybody should have a packet. Board members should have a packet. It's about the land bank. I think we need to look into becoming a member of this land bank. It will help with any properties in the county that need to be demoed, renovated, or refurbished in some ways. I think that this would be a really good tool for us to use for different properties in our jurisdiction. So I would hope that everybody at least reads the first page to see what land banking is about. If they have questions, there's contact information. And hopefully we can bring this to the board and vote on it and join this organization. Thank you.
Next up, we have Pam Davidson.
Good afternoon. I am here to say happy 4th of July. And I want everybody to have a very safe 4th of July and make sure that we thank our veterans and people that are serving in our military, because we would not be a free nation unless through their blood, sweat, and tears. So anyway, happy 4th of July, everybody. Bye.
Right, next up, Mr. Dale Carlson. Yep, that'll be fine. Push your button, Dale. Press your button, Dale. There you go. Go ahead. We heard you.
Mr. Chairman and board members, I'm Dale Carlson, an 80-year-old farmer and caretaker of the land of Knox County. I'm here to speak about the preservation of our precious farmland in Knox County. Row crop farming of corn and soybeans provides us every day with renewable fuels like ethanol from corn, biodiesel from soybeans, aviation fuel, as well as hundreds of other products. Unlike solar and wind power, only produce energy when the sun shines and the wind blows. Corn and soybeans produce renewable energy 365 days a year. The state mandate is taking away the rights of the county government to regulate both solar and wind regulations for their own county. I think Knox County should not tolerate or allow their mandates, since it does not preserve our farmland, especially since agriculture is our #1 industry in Illinois. Renewable solar panels that would not affect farmland can be placed on houses, acreage, buildings, farmsteads, shopco, abandoned factory sites, the old Knox County landfill, vacant lots in Knox County. Landowners who rush into these solar agreements are not good caretakers of the land and God's creation, but only see dollars and do not consider family heirs and the problems involved when these panels and its landscape are decommissioned. They do not have a clue. I'm asking you to deny the approval of KCU 05-25 as a request for a solar energy farm on this parcel. First, the Lisa score has a rating of 264 out of 300, which is a high rating for protection. It's prime farmland rating of 141.2 out of 123. The proposed solar panel area is 29.1 acres or 11,500 panels. The impervious surface of the panels is, keep going.
3 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, 3 minutes is all that is allowed for any public comment.
I was talking fast.
Yeah, we do have your full comment, Dale, we'll enter into the record as well.
Okay. Well, I have one more visual demonstration before I leave.
Unfortunately.
What's it do when it rains?
Thank you, Dale.
Biggest issue is solar. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Next up is Connie Main. Step on up, press, looks like the green button's on, 3 minutes.
I'm Connie Main from Altona, and I'm a civil rights advocate, and I need to provide public notice to you, the Knox County board members. This is in accordance with the USC Rules of Civil Procedures, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution of the United States has the overarching requirements that every state must follow. I don't think anyone will deny that. The states cannot enact their own alternative legislation substituted for the guarantees of the Constitution of the United States. That would mean that those state laws are more powerful than the Constitution. United States Clause 1 of Amendment 5 to the United States Constitution says, "No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or grand jury." However, the state of Illinois has enacted its own alternative legislation that permits the prosecuting attorney or police officer to charge by information, not by indictment. That is unconstitutional. That happened to us. An amalgamate violation is when you pay a public official to break the law. The Constitution has two areas that enforce this. One is Article 1, Section 2, where it says that no state shall create any law that shall impair the obligation of contracts. Police officers, prosecutors, judges are all under a contract to perform that's based upon the oath or affirmation that they took. That contract parameters are defined within the Constitution of the United States. When the state enacts a law that directs their agents to disobey the law, the Constitution of the United States, that would be a violation of Article 1, Section 10. Now, the 14th Amendment is the other place that you'll find the reinforcement of this issue, and that is where it says that no state shall create or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of United States citizens. The privileges and immunities of United States citizens are at a minimum those enumerated within the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments, they cannot be impaired. And thus, the state of Illinois has enacted a law in its inferior constitution that is permitting public officials and law enforcement whom you pay to violate the Constitution of the United States. As a result, there is an inordinate amount of people currently imprisoned in the state of Illinois illegally and unconstitutionally. Tawana Downing is litigating this issue at the United States Supreme Court. I'm here to notify you that if you continue to pay public officials to break the law, there can be criminal sanctions that would come from that. We don't want to go that path, but officials must be made aware that paying people to disobey the law is an amalgamate violation. It is illegal. It is unconstitutional. I'm asking you to look at Clause 1 of Amendment 5, confirm what I'm saying to be true, and then direct your public officials to act in lawful constitutional manners consistent with the obligations that are codified in the Constitution of the United States of America. I have a notice I would like to put on record. Thank you very much. I'll give you 2 copies so that if you want to have it for something, you can. So I will give this to the clerk.
Thank you very much. I want to start by thanking everybody who attended KCAP's annual meeting yesterday. We had a record turnout for the event, and so far the feedback has been pretty good, so we appreciate everybody attending. In my written report this month, I provided some detail about economic development related matters in the state's most recently passed budget. I wanted to hit a couple of items that I think would be of interest to this body. I've talked a little bit in the past about how Illinois is getting a little bit smarter about how we approach economic development as a state. One of the more promising things that's been happening in Springfield over the last 3 to 4 years is the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity each year has been successfully passing omnibus bills, which are making some tweaks and some process improvements to the way the state provides economic development incentives. This is really encouraging, and I wanted to call out what I thought is a good trend here. For many years, Illinois' economic development tools didn't really have any updates. They were just kind of stagnant. And the fact that we're going in and changing those and making improvements to things like eligibility and application, making the tools more flexible each year, helps make the state continue to be competitive against our neighbors. Case in point, one of the things that was in the bill, the budget bill this year, was a new manufacturing tax credit called the AIM credit. And this is designed for companies in Illinois that are making significant capital investments It's, again, just an example of ways that the state is trying to be competitive with economic development. So I wanted to call that out. I wanted to also highlight that one of the other things that was in the state budget this year is additional funding for the Grocery Initiative Equipment Upgrade Program. If you're not familiar with this, it is a matching grant program that's open to mom and pop independent owned grocery stores. And it provides matching funds for upgrades in energy efficiency, equipment, refrigeration, like that kind of stuff. It's a really cool program. If you happen to have like small grocery stores in your districts, or you know somebody that's in that field that's interested, I'm happy to help them with the application. So far, the state's awarded 4 of these grants. One of them actually went to Cornucopia here in Galesburg. But anyway, there's more money going into that program, and it's something that I think I'd like to see more folks apply for. And the last thing I just wanted to comment on tonight, the county's new website looks great. Check that out today. It's really, really easy to use. So I just wanted to say kudos to that and all the folks that worked on that new website. Thank you.
Press the button, Ken. Thank you. Right. Take care of that. Moving along to the consent agenda, items 1 and 2. I'll take a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from May 28th, 2025, and the sales tax and various taxes for the month of April 2025 in the amounts of $171,114.86 and $56,613.65, and public safety tax in the amount of $287,919.01. Take a motion, please. Member Bondi and Member Kramer. Is there any discussion on that? Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Machi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bundy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Motion passes. I'll take a motion to approve proclamation celebrating the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act in Knox County.
So moved. Second.
Second.
You got that, sir?
Yep.
All right. The proclamation celebrating the anniversary of Americans with Disabilities Act in Knox County is in everybody's packet. Unless I'll just enter it into the record, unless Mr. Cohen wants to read it into the record.
I would be more than happy to read it. I'll take something off your plate. More than happy to.
How about it, sir?
Proclamation celebrating anniversary of Americans with Disabilities Act in Knox County. Whereas the President George H.W. Bush signed into law the Americans with Disabilities Act on July 26, 1990, and by doing so created the world's first comprehensive declaration of equality for persons of different abilities. And whereas this legislation has been a driving force towards fostering a more equal and inclusive society by reducing barriers, changing perceptions, and increasing full participation in community life. And whereas the legislation also prohibits discrimination against individuals with different abilities in public and private places and requires reasonable accommodations for all persons. And whereas the residents of Knox County, Illinois, do support and affirm these principles of equality and inclusion for persons with disabilities as embodied in the Americans with Disabilities Act along with other statutes and ordinances in places to protect those in need. And whereas we are blessed that there are a variety of organizations in Knox County that work directly with those residents that have a need or issue with equality or inclusion, and whereas on this 35th anniversary of the passage of this act, we join those across the country in celebrating the progress that has been made thus far and knowing that the work is not done. Now, therefore, Jared Hawkinson, Chair of the Knox County Board of Knox County, Illinois, do hereby proclaim July 26, 2025 to be a day of celebration of the passage of the American with Disabilities Act in Knox County. All citizens are encouraged to remain committed to the principles of the Act and to continue to strive for a world that accommodates everyone's abilities, no matter what they are.
All right, thank you, Member Cohen. Any discussion on that? Member Davidson?
I am so ecstatic and happy that Knox County is standing up for people with disabilities, because with DEI, people are trying not to be a part of that. And it is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it includes our people of disability. So I'm glad that we're standing up for all people with disability.
Any other discussion? Member Cohen?
I just always like when we bring this up every year to remind everyone too, that a lot of these topics are important to a lot of people around these counties. So for instance, this resolution, every year I'm reminded by a constituent how important this is to her. And I get an email every year about 2 months before July. And I thank all the county board members for always being willing to bring this up and vote on it. And I also encourage other constituents too, if you have a passion like this or you want to be recognized, you know, there's no harm in reaching out to your elected officials.
Member Naji?
And having a child with disabilities, and I've spoken here before, she's had me speak, and now we have a way for our people, our disabled, to come into our courthouse, even though it's not through the front way. It's good. So I just want to say, this is a great thing, and we should all be thrilled, that we're taking care. We should be taking better care, but that we're doing what we can to take care of our disabled. Thank you.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson.
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger, and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Motion passes. I'll take a motion to approve the formation of the Rural Transportation Task Force.
Second.
Motion in a second.
Got it.
All right. Several years ago, it's probably what, 6 years ago, Pam? Then that the city and the county started collaborating on rural transportation. And at that time, the county authorized a resolution in support of whatever we needed to do at that time for rural transportation. Meeting with the city leaders and attending some of the meetings here in the last year and a half. They're at the folks that the city hired, or the Galesburg Transit hired for a rural transit study is coming to a close, and they're at a point where they can actually have monetary figures and potential routes and all of that would extend public transportation into the rural areas of Knox County. And I wanted to put together a task force comprising of just 3 folks, 4 if you include myself, but Rick Sandoval since he represents the south end of the rural transportation, Member Kramer since he represents the north end, and Member Davidson since she was the board chair when this progress initially started some time ago. So the 3 of them plus myself will collaborate more with the Galesburg Transit and the city officials to find out what we can do as a team, both the county and the city, to ensure that the rural transportation actually takes the next step. So, and the next step will probably be actual execution of that transportation plan. So it's going to be real exciting here within the next 6 to 9 months in the county for transportation. And it's something that's definitely needed. And the rural transportation surveys that we talked about, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, they received those details, and that's definitely, we all know that it's needed to get people into where services are at. So that will form, and we'll be able to provide monthly reports as to the status on that. Any discussion on that? Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Motion passes. I'll take a motion to approve 5A, which is the contract with the Knox County Fair Board. Kramer and Olinger. This information is in the packet. We received the documentation Monday morning. was forwarded. The agenda was updated Monday afternoon. And this is just the same thing we did the last 2 Junes in a row to enter in the service agreement for the Knox County Fair. It shows the rates of pay that the Fair Board will reimburse the county for services and kind of a hold harmless liability type of thing. Since the fair is in the 8th, so 2 weeks. All right, any discussion on that? Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Machi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Bondi,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion passes. Next up is the report and subsequent action items from the Ways and Means Committee. Vice Chair Frederick.
All righty. Again, pretty quiet month this month. Next month, July, there we'll be picking up, starting our budget meetings. We haven't had a date for them yet set, but they'll be forthcoming here pretty quick. So in July, we'll be having some meetings about the budget. Get started on that. Without moving into the action items, item 7, I'll put this form in motion. Approve resolution on deed and conveyance. Second, please. All right, we have 1 this month. Again, just to remind everybody, this is just putting delinquent tax parcels back on the roll so we get paid for them. Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Machi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondi,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
All righty, item 8, I'll put this form in motion. Approve salary increase for the public defender, sheriff, and state's attorney. All right, the state sets us, we do not, there's nothing we can do about it. So what it is the state's attorney is getting a 6.1% raise. Then the others, I don't remember the numbers, but like the sheriff, I think the sheriff gets 85% of that. Then public defender gets another percentage. So that's how it's based off of. 6.1 is the highest one, and everything else comes off that. Pam?
How much is the state paying? Do you know? if you
100%
have
of the
those
state's
numbers?
attorney,
100% state's
of the
attorney.
state's attorney.
Thank you.
The public defender by statute makes 90% of what the state's attorney makes, and the sheriff now makes 80% of what the state's attorney
80,
makes.
okay, I said 85.
Correct.
So there's nothing we can do about it. So what the state sets us and we just can do with it. Any questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
All righty, Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Machi,
No.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
No.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondi,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B Frederick.
Yes.
12 ayes, 2 nays, Mr. Chair.
All right. Item 9, I'll put this for a motion. Bid and bring back financing options for the nursing home project upgrade. All righty. We've did this before with Mr. Bacon there when he was head of the nursing home committee but when it came about, the first time we set this out for bid, we decided that we didn't have enough information and our numbers were not finalized to get all to do our property financing. So now we have our numbers nailed down, and the number we're gonna use is 10,000 or
$10,110,000 even.
okay. So now that we have our numbers nailed down and we got our bids back, so now we are official and go back and get our financing numbers officially and make our decision from that next month.
Right, and those numbers there, that's just to seek the funding levels and from the banks.
Yep.
the amount that we would potentially use up to that may not be the full 10 million. We may decide that we need to go self-fund, more of that. That would bring our yearly payment down. But, we would address that when we review the actual, financing, options we have.
Pam? You're just itching.
I know it, I know it. Well, one of my issues is I truly am backing the nursing home and doing what they need, but they already have a loan out there. I know it's under a very low interest rate, but with all the things with Medicaid coming down the chute, even with the state of having Medicaid, updoing their Medicaid every 5 years is very slow. People aren't getting payment. I worry about this because then it'll be on the backs of taxpayers, hoping that it's not a issue with payment down the road. We don't know, but we've had bad days out there at the nursing home. We're doing very good right now, but I hope that we can get less than $10 million. $10 million is a lot of money, and it's just not paid off in a couple years. So that is truly my issue of payment for repayment of the bond or the loan or whatever it might be. And also, for months and months, I and honorary Tracy Robertson, we asked about a thing for veterans. The state could pay money for veterans to come to our facilities, and it still hasn't happened. I know we have till the end of July, it still hasn't happened. We need to work on every revenue that we can.
Remember, Davidson, for that portion of it, that has nothing to do with the bid and bring back.
But the bid and bring back, we need to know about the finances, and that's a part of the finance, sir.
And that portion that can be discussed later, which I agree, but for discussion purposes, that we're just discussing the bid and bring back approval to seek financing options.
Understand, but we need to know where the money comes, so when you vote for the bid and bring back, understand that.
Mr. Kramer?
I just want to note that the items that are looking to get replaced are items that have got kicked down the road. We've kicked the can down the road, and that's why we're dealing with the $10 million project. All right. Unfortunately, decisions were made in the past that is out of our control. But if we continue to just kick the can, we're going to keep putting Band-Aids and spending more and more money on not upgrading the facility. So I think that's a big thing to keep in consideration. We just keep putting Band-Aids and it keeps costing us more and more and more. Let's fix the project.
Anybody else?
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Robinson.
Is my line on?
Go ahead.
Okay, so now you've changed it. It started out at 11, now it's at 10. Is that the financing amount that we're going to vote on, or can it subject to change again? Because I don't think I will feel comfortable voting on 10 million if it really is only 7 million that we need.
No.
And if we don't have it to pay it back in a timely manner or monthly, then I don't feel comfortable voting on that.
This vote here is just to bid the to bid the loan. It's not to approve that. We're not approving that amount right now with this vote. This is just to approve the interest or to go out to bid to get, see what interest rates we can get.
So shouldn't we go for the lowest amount to see what the interest rates would be and not the highest amount? Just if we can self-fund some of that?
This is the amount that we need to bid to seek.
To seek?
Yeah, right. And to answer your question, at the infrastructure committee, it was 11,500,000 some or 600,000. And at that committee, we removed $500,000 because we paid $1 million already in advance, 500,000 from the nursing home, $500,000 from the referendum, which reduced it to 500, if you recall. And then we discussed at the Thursday Ways and Means Committee that you were absent, that we're not going to add that extra $500,000 in there, so it would reduce it $1 million, since there's no sense in paying ourselves back if we're going to get financing just for that. So that's why it came down that full $10,110,080.69. And at the Thursday Ways and Means, we'd also discussed that the nursing home would, for sake of making the even numbers, we would just make it even number and just eat the $80.69. But this is just for the bid and bring back to seek that financing for that that amount to see where our payments would be if we decided to go for the full amount.
Any other questions? Mr. Bondi?
And we're providing a criteria for the banks to bid against. Is that not correct?
Yeah.
So they're all bidding on the same kind of basis of requirements that we think are important, such as no prepayment penalty and
Yeah.
the amortization relative to a balloon payment. We'd have rights to maybe do a bond if we want to at a later date. Those are some of the criteria that we have in place in the specifications. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Robertson,
No.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
No.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
No.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bundy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B. Frederick.
Yes.
11 ayes, 3 nays, Mr. Chair.
All right, item 10, we'll move on up to this form of motion. Approve and close out documents for Oneida Telephone ARPA award. Second, please. Thank you. All right. This is just closing out the last part of the ARPA award to finish up their projects. I think they've got them all done now. Is that right, Mr. Conklin?
No, they've got two projects that the county approved several years ago for use of the broadband bucket for the ARPA dollars that we received for the Ryle project and the Henderson project. They are now underway, or they're about to be underway to bring fiber optic internet to rural locations. The county approved, for the Ryle project, $470,514.62 that's remaining. And the Henderson Township project, remaining is $483,081.55. And they expect to have both projects completed. I think I reported that last week, Bob, or Brian, I think September. They're planning to have both up and running for those projects.
Any questions or comments about this? Call to vote then, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bundy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger,
Yes.
and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
That concludes my report. Back to you, Mr. Hawkinson.
Thank you, sir. Item 11 is the report from the Public Service Committee. Member Sandoval is absent due to work constraints. He did tell me that there was no action items and the report was in everybody's packet, and there's nothing to report. Item number 12. Member Davidson.
I like to say I was honored to have the state's attorney attend the meeting. After several months of saying how she has not attended a meeting, she attended our meeting. It was a great thing. Thank you.
All right, item 12 is the report on the infrastructure and subsequent action items. Member Bondi.
Thank you very much. Our agenda and action items are in your packet along with those associated action item materials. Are there any comments or questions? If not, I'll go on to our agenda. Our action item number 13, to approve the engineering service agreement for Victoria Township, section 25-20151-00BR, and I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. This project is located 4 miles southeast of Victoria, 1850 north. The current structure was built in 1925. It's 22-foot long, single span concrete slab bridge. It is considered functionally obsolete due to the roadway width and the structure being only 15 foot wide. It's currently rated as a legal load only, which means no overweight loads can come across it. The payment for this engineering service provided by Instra Kim shall not exceed $55,332 50% of the engineering will be covered by the state of Illinois and for the township program. And the funding for the remaining split between Victoria and Knox County. The current budget there is 187,000. 24-25 county bridge fund budget covering this expense. Line item number 007000560400030. We are recommending approval. Are there any comments or questions? If not, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cullen,
Yes.
Bollinger,
Yes.
and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. 14 was eliminated. We'll go on to number 15 is to approve the payment of invoice for the jail laundry project amendment number 4, draw number 8 for $14,197.70. Make that in the form of motion. Is there a second? Thank you very much. Overall project was $415,040, of which the retainage to date is $18,510.29. This draw is for $14,197.70. In the packet, you'll find that the breakout of what those dollars are for, the lien releases, updated lien waivers are all in place along with the proper invoice. Are there any comments or questions? Not, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
J. Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cullen,
Yes.
Bollinger,
Yes.
and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Item number 16 is to approve the performance contract project bid package tabulation submittal for the mechanical and electrical approval for MSI in the amount of $3,845,473, subject to Ways and Means developing a development plan. And for the roof replacement approved for the economic roofing in the amount of $1,906,560. Again, subject to Ways and Means developing a plan for approving the financing. Make that both in form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. In the bid tabulation, PIPCO, MSI, and CMI were the bidders. PIPCO came in at $4,641,000. CMI came in at $4,399,000. As I already stated, MSI came in for $3,845,473. And the items associated are for piping, sheet metal, insulation, electrical, plumbing, test balances, carpentry, and then the appropriate alternative for the new generator. Are there any comments or questions? Not, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
You want to, hold on just a minute, point over, you want to talk about the bid tabulation for the package 2?
Oh, excuse me,
For the
yes.
roofing?
We don't, you want to do them both together? I read them out, I guess that was.
Correct.
The second one is for the roof, and that was for the economic roofing from Dowers Roofing and from Creeling Roofing. Economic roofing was for, and infrastructure had the decision to either decide to just do partial replacement of wing 1 and 4 or do a total replacement. After discussing this with representatives of the nursing home, specifically Jody Mine, it was clear that the actual replacement was preferable. And so economic roofing was $1,906,560. Dowers Roofing was $2,576,445. And Creeling Roofing was $2,068,697. So considerably better by economic roofing. And their specifications and experience were well accepted by Klinger and Associates. And so the infrastructure committee voted for that. And are there any comments or questions? Now I'd ask the clerk to call the roll on both those items.
All righty, Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondi,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Bollinger,
Yes.
and B Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. The last item is to approve the membership in the Galesburg Downtown Council at the rate of $3,900 a year. And the performance of doing this membership would be taking care of all the landscaping and the cutting and trimming of all the bushes associated with the future annex of for Knox County at the corner of Cherry Street and Main Street. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Process has gone through analyzing the maintenance of that property, and we gave an example of what the skills would be for the Galesburg Downtown Council this past week or so. We cut, trimmed everything, brought it back up to proper levels of maintenance. This would also provide for proper spraying and taking care of vegetation, those vegetations that we don't want, and of course, the vegetation we do want, and just doing an overall maintenance of the space consistent with what we would do, the Galesburg Downtown Council would do for the common areas for the city of Galesburg, in which we're analyzing an expansion of our SSA requirements to an extra block all the way around the SSA. And this went through quite a processing of pricing. This is a one-year consideration at the end, and it includes all products and machinery and labor. If for any reason those items are not acceptable by the city or by the county and or Galesburg Downtown Council at the end of 1 year, the program would cease or be renegotiated. Are there any comments or questions? Yeah.
Okay, who's taking care of our annex, our courthouse, or any of the other properties that are within the county that?
That would fall under what the sheriff's oversight, I guess.
Well, the sheriff is responsible for the courthouse and the sheriff's office.
Who does the annex?
There's no mowing there, so
I mean,
There's
but
a-
who maintains?
the sheriff somewhat maintains. If he has problems, he comes to the proper committee.
Okay. Why are we joining the city downtown
Yeah,
council
Downtown Council.
for this when East Main still fall under Knox County?
Staffing.
So
It would take
he
extra
does,
staffing.
he's not gonna the sheriff's department has not enough help to maintain our site at East Main. He doesn't have enough staff.
He has 3 employees on maintenance staff to take care of the courthouse, the jail, the sheriff's office, and I think there's a cleaning lady that does the. Is it
I don't care, woman, man. I
Yeah.
don't
cleaning
care.
person that takes care of cleaning inside?
But
the
I'm
house?
saying it's called rotation. Are they doing this all on the same day? I mean, they cannot rotate from one part of his obligation to another part of I mean, it's called rotation.
There-
Anyway,
Yep. There's
that's
not-
all
there
I'm
is-
asking.
Yeah, it's outside he's only required to maintain the courthouse and the jail. That is it.
Okay, thank you.
There's a question here for Sam, you're first.
Go ahead.
I'd also assume, just asking for clarification, it's probably cheaper also to just join the downtown council than to have the sheriff try and maintain it, like if it requires more staffing, right?
Considerably better value, yes. Yes, ma'am.
This is outside the Galesburg Council and but the annex, it has weeds sometimes 6 foot tall on the side of the driveway. So we need to make sure that all of our properties.
The first time the Galesburg Downtown Council has touched it was just a week or so ago.
Yeah,
Demonstrate what they would be doing, what they would be spraying. I think it got in pretty good shape as a result of that.
they did.
So you would have a visual of it.
Good, good, good. I was thinking about putting some Roundup and stuff.
Any other comments or questions?
I'm sorry, did you say, they do snow removal? Is that
But
included as well?
That's not a cost. We're already doing the snow removal on the sidewalks. The county would still be responsible for the snow removal in their parking lot. We don't do parking lots.
So who would do that?
Pardon?
Would that be the sheriff's office?
Would it be the sheriff's office or whoever, who does your, the courthouse right now?
The sheriff's office takes care of the courthouse and the sheriff's office.
So they would be responsible for.
So they still will be doing something over there
They-
then?
they would be
Not necessarily.
responsible.
They have no responsibility at this annex building, at the new building. We
At
would
the
have
new
to-
building, so do we know? I mean,
We'll have to hire somebody to
Correct.
handle. I don't know if the highway department would be able to assist us with that or not.
No, we'll have to address the snow removal at a later time for sure.
Snow removal only in the parking lot. Snow removal on the sidewalks, Galesburg downtown.
Correct.
And will, even if this is not approved, they already do that as part of the SSA. Special Service Area.
so we have landscaping there and they'll take care of that as well? Did you say that?
They are taking care of all the landscaping, trimming the
Trees,
trees,
shrubs and all that?
taking care of weeds, cutting the grass.
Okay.
And that's what we're voting on. Yes. Brian?
Thank you, Bob, for bringing this to our attention. I think it'd be great and look forward to them guys doing it because I'm sure they take pride in the rest of making that right. So thanks for bringing this to our attention and getting it done.
Good. Anything else?
Nope. That's
And
all.
a matter of disclosure, I sit on the Galesburg Downtown Council Board and I am the current president, so I'll be abstaining on this one. I don't think I really have to, but I'm going to.
Yeah, technically, I asked, he does not have to abstain because he doesn't get paid for the services, but if it's a personal preference, that would be
My
okay.
salary was doubled this past year to 0.
That's right. So,
Ask the clerk to call the roll if there's no more questions. Thank you.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Machi,
No.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondi, abstain. Cohen,
Yes.
Hollinger,
Yes.
and B Frederick.
Yes.
12 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstention, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, that ends my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item 19 is the monthly report on the Health and Human Services and the subsequent action item.
Thank you, Chairman. Monthly report from the committees in the packet. Item 20 was removed, just waiting to get a little more information about some specifics on that item. Item 21, I'll make this in the form of a motion to approve ZBA case CU-05-25 for solar energy farm in the A agricultural zoning district under Appendix F, Knox County Commercial Solar Energy Facility, citing ordinance filed by the applicant, SR2 CP Holdco LLC is a limited liability company and is the sole member of the Irwin Solar LLC. Their address along with the owner Joyce Kaufman of Galesburg. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bondi. This is a solar project out on County Highway 7 and County Highway 9. We had a good discussion at the committee about the project. There was some voiced concerns about some landscaping items. It was brought by the representatives that were there from Irwin that they would address those concerns with their landscaping engineer about adding some trees potentially. Other than that, like I said, the whole project has met all the basis for all the state requirements and has gone through the ZBA. So does anybody have any questions?
Just, is there any provisions or effort going on to control runoff?
If I recall right, and there's a representative that there really wasn't a runoff issue with that location. Yeah, you go ahead, step forward. Yep, I just can't remember your name, sir.
I'm Sean.
Sean, thank you. Just press the button and the green light will come on.
Yep, stormwater runoff was your concern. We're gonna be having native grasses and pollinator seed mix that are underneath the panels. that will actually increase water absorption and decrease overall stormwater runoff. Will also be held to the Illinois EPA Water Bureau standards that regulates stormwater discharges. A full SWIP will be, stormwater pollution prevention plan will be submitted prior to a building permit being pulled. So before commencement of construction, that will also be developed and submitted to the building official.
Will you be sharing that with the Swangataha Country Club and or the Lake Rice Association? In other words, the runoff from there actually goes right into those tributaries.
Sure. I mean, if it's required, we can certainly consult with them. As I mentioned, the stormwater runoff with this site is actually going to be improved compared to what it is now with row crop farming.
I just think it'd be good, since the runoff does go into Lake Rice, that it's probably a good thing to include that group in understanding what the runoff is now and what it will be afterwards.
Sure.
So that they have some interaction in that process, so they can maintain some analysis. There's a greenkeeping group that handles that whole thing.
Yeah, no, understood.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Robertson?
In committee, you made the comment, or it was brought to our attention that there was gonna be some pine trees, or some type of trees to cover from the north, if I'm correct, on
all the north and east sides of the facility, to ensure that it won't be visible at all from Knox Highway 7 or the landowner that's to the northeast. Along the western side, the topography of the land drops down quite significantly. So as you go up Knox Highway 9, it's truly completely invisible. So we have agreed to vegetative screening to allow for making sure that no one will be able to see the project.
Can we make sure that's in writing so the customers, that the residents that live in that area they don't have an eyesore for years to come?
That it's along the north and the east. I believe that was a condition. I mean, it's my perspective is that it's a condition of approval. We're gonna add that vegetative screening along the north and the east too.
Great. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions for Sean? Member Davidson?
Yes, I've received some comments and things from some ZBA members, and some of them voted no due to you did not have all the proper things in order. You said, yes, we're going to put the trees in, but it's not in writing. Yes, you're gonna do different things. Have you got it in writing yet to bring to us that you're gonna do exactly what you're telling us to do, that you're gonna do?
Yeah, so I had asked if I had to resubmit any additional documentation ahead of the county committee meeting, and then in relation to this meeting as well, happy to put in writing that it's a condition of approval, if that's possible.
I can answer that.
Sonia, go ahead.
So everything in their application process was up to par. The only thing they did not have in their application was any vegetative screening. But because at ZBA members asked to have the vegetative screening, therefore their conditional use permit, in your facts and findings, I think does say this, that it would be conditioned on the fact that they have to have the vegetative screening. That's a conditional use of their conditional use. So the ZBA, that'll be on their
On the
thing.
east, north, and the things that we talked about
So,
on
North,
our meeting.
north and east was talked about at ZBA. West was talked about at committee.
Yes, so west.
So
will West have it?
west wouldn't be what ZBA voted on. So they said they would consider it and talk to the people. That's where they're at. But legally, all that was required at ZBA and voted on was north and east.
Okay, and some of your members said no. They voted no.
One said no,
Okay.
the rest said yes, so that's what your facts and findings have.
lies and it's not concealed, that entire area that this is proposed for. I've driven up and down the last week just to verify that what I said at the committee meeting was right. I haven't thought about telling Pam, calling her and saying, it's not what we were told. It doesn't conceal the whole thing.
Right, but they they do in the part of the zoning, they will be placing vegetative on the east side, which would cover
And,
that
and,
along County 9.
yes, the north
And
and the east, because I'm not aware of anything in the statute that says solar has to be not seen by anyone in the entire area. It is only conditioned to be screened for housing and neighboring life sustaining properties. So that would be why.
right, just so everybody's on the same page, in your packet, page 460, the fact and findings from the Zoning Board of Appeals. When they met on June 4th at 2 p.m., was on a vote from 3-1 to approve the request with that condition of the vegetative screening to be planted on the east and the north sides of the project, which would be on the County 9 side and the County 7 side.
Anybody have any further comments or questions? Jen?
Yes, I would just like to thank Dale Carlson for coming in tonight, and I do suggest to my fellow board members that I may ask is that you read the rest of what he brought us tonight before you vote on this. That's all I have.
Does anybody else have any questions for Sean? Seeing none. Thank you, Sonia, for coming up and doing that clarification. Sean, if you would just press the button.
Yeah,
Clerk,
sure.
would you call the roll, please?
Thank you.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
No.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
No.
Davidson,
No.
Hawkinson,
Statute requires me to say yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
No. No.
Bundy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Bollinger, and B. Frederick.
Yes.
9 ayes, 4 nays, 1 abstention, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That concludes my monthly report. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. External committees for board members, those that provided documentation are in your packet. If you have questions, please contact the proper external committee member. And moving on, I'll take a motion to approve opening budget for line item changes.
Second.
All right, this one gets me. I'll see if I can stay on task here. Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Bollinger, and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion passed. Presentation item 323 for the proposed line item changes are in your packet. I hope everybody's had a chance to review those. Any questions on those? The one thing that I would note for the budget change, we did get the state of Illinois to increase the grant that we received for the courthouse technology, which includes the original generator for the whole courthouse. They will also be paying for the $17,000 budget change for that piece was, we got them to pay the $86,000 for the camera system instead of coming out of the other project funds that we have. Any questions on those? I'll take a motion to approve the proposed line item changes. Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Bollinger, and B. Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion passes. Item 25 is the review of the manual checks issued for the current cycle. There still is a lot in there for this month, and those are from the jury jury submissions. Is that the right wording? Here, Mr. Clerk? Close enough. And any questions on those? All right. I'll take a motion to approve item 26 for the claims by members for per diem and mileage for the committee meetings of June 2025, board meeting in May, and other claims for per diems from meetings in the amount of $3,172.80. Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger, and B Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion passes. I'll take a motion to approve claims against Knox County, Illinois for the period of May 29, 2025 through June 25, 2025, ordering that invoices be accepted and approved and that the county clerk and county treasurer be authorized and directed to issue county warrants in the payment of the bills in the aggregate amount approved by the county board, $2,862,034.42. You got a motion?
Second.
Who had the second? Member Theory.
Oh.
Any discussion on that? Call the roll.
Robertson,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Theory,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Nachi,
Yes.
Jay Frederick,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Hawkinson,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Weiss,
Yes.
Bondy,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Olinger, and B Frederick.
Yes.
14 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Motion passes. The next regular meeting will be Wednesday, July 25th, 2025, 6 p.m. right here at the Galesburg City Hall Council Chambers. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Member Biden, Member Cohen on the record. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned at 7:08.